Hello, everyone, and welcome to Soul Stained Ink. My name is Beth, and I am here today with my weekly reads video. So, is it 3:40 on a Sunday afternoon? Yes. Am I already in my pajamas? Heck yes, I am. Let me pop that collar out for you. Yes, it has been a busy, crazy weekend starting Thursday night when I booked it up to where I used to live, dealt with things over there, found out I didn't have the right kind of way to tow the lawnmower back because I don't have a hitch on my car. I used to have a hitch on my car. They had to replace the bumper and gave me a hitchless bumper, but I remembered having a hitch on my car, so I didn't make sure, which is fine because they're transporting it to a store down near us. My dad can go pick it up with his truck that has a hitch and we'll be fine. But I made the trip up there and then I drove an hour to try to go see my friend who is sleep deprived and was finally asleep. And I was like, I'm not waking her insomniac behind up. So I bought things. You saw my book haul from the bookstore. I bought several clothes as well. But then I came home, got the girls. Like I went to my parents' house, picked up my girls Friday afternoon, came home, dealing with puppies that had to have baths because I left them outside and they got covered up and stuff, and then trying to train puppies and my children in a dirty house. And the big one wanted to go meet her friends for a movie. Well, guess where all her friends live? Back where my parents are. So Saturday we went back up there and let her go watch the new Ninja Turtle movie with her friends. And then we came home. And then we got up and went to church this morning, which is back over there. It's been crazy, but I'm here now. So before I go curl up in a chair and crochet with puppies, I am going to tell you what I finished reading this past week and what I intend to read in the next week or so. So I do not know. I cannot remember if I told you I finished reading Red, White, and Royally Blue by Casey McQuiston. I'm guessing because I don't know where I put the copy of that book that I did tell you I read it. I loved it. Absolutely 100% adored it. However, if you do not want to read about a enemies to lovers between two early 20s men, don't do it. But for the banter alone, I would have loved this book, and just the way the story unfolds is amazing. I have since watched the movie on Prime. If I had just watched the movie and not read the book, I would think that this movie was absolutely the most adorable thing that has come out in a long time. But I read the book, so ruined it for me. I do love the movie. I think it's super cute. But I wish they would have done a few things differently. Along with that, I listened to the audiobook for Stein Tinglers. Oh, I finished Santiago's Road Home by Alexandra Diaz. This is about a boy who is abused by his family at home and decides he's going to immigrate to the United States. Here's the cover. It gets brutal at times. It is a middle grade book, so it's not like gory or anything, but just emotional, and she doesn't hold back. I read The Only Road, which followed two cousins that had to leave their home in Guatemala, travel across Mexico, like illegally enter Mexico, then illegally exit Mexico into the United States, and the things they went through. Yeah. And so Santiago was actually a side character that showed up for a few chapters in The Only Road. And we got like that little snippet of his story, which is actually kind of left out in this book. So, like, we don't have that part. But this book was absolutely phenomenal and beautiful. I loved it. I believe I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. Just immigration literature is so important, and immigration literature in middle grades, Alexandra Diaz is doing it right. All right, and then I listened to R.L. Stein's Stein Tinglers. Here's the cover for that. It is a group of short stories by R.L. Stein. So They're they're just all new stories. They came out about a year ago and are all new stories by R.L. Stein. The Scribd version of the audiobook, I don't know if it's anywhere else, but the audiobook that Scribd has, R.L. Stein did a little introduction to every story and kind of told you where the idea for this came from, which I loved because not only do kids who enjoy things like R.L. Stein's book, who enjoy Goosebumps and all of that jazz, not only do they get to hear these short stories that they're enjoying and they're like, oh wow, they get to hear how the idea came about. And kids will tell you all the time, I'm not creative, I don't know what to do, I don't know. But they really are. They just don't seize that idea or think about that moment, right? So to hear these like mundane things that he's talking about, and he's like, and then it kind of stayed in the back of my head and I listened to it. That is, I love that so much. I may revisit a couple of these stories with my 8th graders in October just to kind of let them hear what he says about writing. Today, just a little while ago, I finished A Court of Thorns and Roses. Now, according to Goodreads, I had read this before. According to my memory, I had not. So I don't know if I just didn't pay attention. I have no idea. I picked it up on Scribd as an audiobook and was like, well, I'll try it because I know I have a physical copy at the house. I think that chapter 27 is as far as I got. Yeah, because it looks like that's where I marked. I know Elizabeth from Lizzie Faye Books. Lizzie Faye Loves Books sent this to me before I had Raylan. She had to have sent this to me 5 years ago, possibly longer than that. It's a beautiful edition. I love that it has like the vines and stuff at the beginning of every chapter. So, a plain black and silver, which I love. But I wasn't, the first time I read it, I remember putting it down and not getting back to it. So it super shocked me that I enjoyed it this much. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as other people in the community think I ought to. 3.5 stars. I have not marked it as finished on Goodreads yet, so I don't know if I'm going to wind up giving it a full 4 stars or just 3.5 stars. I will tell you that I know enough that I'm not going to stop. I'm going to at least go on to read the next book. So then I also made progress on the Cedar Shadow Wars by Jay Hauser because I got my Kindle. Oh, don't drop it, Elizabeth. Hoo-wee. Let me show you the cover. So I got the whole boxed set, well, not really boxed set, omnibus of the first 4 books in this series, and this is the first in the Cedar Wars series, Cedar Shadow Wars by Jay Hauser. She sent them to me because the omnibus was coming out of the 4, and so she sent them to me and a few other people in order for us to go ahead and, be able to do reviews and things as it came out. And she was like, I completely understand that, you are a human being. So the omnibus is coming out in like 2 weeks. You're not going to have time to read all of them. That's fine. And I was like, I'll at least get the first one done. I'm enjoying it. I am. I really am. But reading it on this screen was very difficult for me. The Kindle just came in and I read 2 chapters the other night. I did forget that I had it for a little while, so that's whatever. But, I made progress. The Kindle, not Cedar Wars. I did not forget about Cedar Wars. I forgot I owned a Kindle. But I did make a couple of chapters worth of progress. And then also on this, I am now at chapter 14 in Sarah Pennypacker's Here in the Real World. This is super cute so far, and it's dealing with a lot of big emotions. So I love it. I'm pretty sure, although it hasn't stated specifically, I'm pretty sure that our main characters are neurodivergent. So I love seeing the little quirks and things in them. They're written really, really well. So that's what I did over the past week and a half or so. And I'm already at 10 minutes. I do apologize. Let me very quickly, hopefully, go through what I'm planning on reading. Now, these 4 books are my textbooks for the 2 classes that I am taking this semester, meaning that I will be reading them over the next 16 weeks or so. These two are for professing English, which is about being an academic and a professor for English literature. This one is How to Build a Life in the Humanities, Meditations on the Academic Work-Life Balance, edited by Greg Colon, Semenza, and Garrett A. Sullivan Jr., with a foreword by Anthony Grafton. And this one is Detox Your Writing Strategies for Doctoral Researchers by Pat Thompson and Barbara Kamler. So my advisor, who is also the professor, the teacher for this class, emailed and let us know that we do not have any readings for this book this week, but at some point this week I want to go ahead and, read the introduction, read maybe the first chapter. The first chapter is 16 pages. So, oh no, not even 16 pages, like 10 pages. The first chapter is 10 pages. So, and I want to do the same thing with this, read the little introduction, chapter 1 introduction. There you go. This one is, introduction is like 20 pages, but it's also 14 pages. It's also written in fairly decent sized font. So, I'd like to at least get the introduction first chapter done on those. And then the other class I have is Writing in a Digital World. So the books we have for that is Sound Writing, A Guide to Making Audio Projects by Tanya K. Rodriguez and Kyle D. Stedman. And then we also have Writer Designer, A Guide to Making Multimodal Projects. I say multimodal all the time. I said it like 83 times last week because juniors and seniors are currently working on multimodal presentations for me. Anyway, this reminds me of the early days of computers being in the school when we had the little flip book bindings and we had to go through and learn how to program and type, and they were in these kind of books. I want to do the same thing with these that I'm doing with the professing English books. Read, like, the preface for Sound Writing is 15 pages, so I can at least, get through the preface, read a little bit of chapter 1, Writer Designer, same thing. Oh, the puppies are fighting again. Goodness. So I've got those, but then I also, I'm hoping to finish all of the other books I told you about and, read a chapter or 2 out of the Book Whisperer, maybe start one of these books that I have set to the side as a stack of possibilities. Greetings from Nowhere, the Borrow a Bookshop Holiday. I'm hoping, because Fiona and I talked a little bit about her getting a copy of this and maybe buddy reading it, so I'm hoping she got one or can get one, and we're going to buddy read this. So I don't know if this is really on my stack of possibilities for this week, but we'll see. The Secret Garden of Yanagi Inn by Amber Logan, which is a secret garden retelling for adults. The Last Housewife by Ashley Winstead, Grady Hendrix, How to Sell a Haunted House, and Louise Penny's A World of Curiosities. I've been told that I can go ahead and read that even though it's the 18th in the series, and I won't be too terribly lost at all. So I'm hoping that the person who told me that was actually correct. But those are the possibilities that I may or may not be picking up this week. I will definitely be picking these guys up. And I'm super duper hoping to read a lot more, if not finish, The Cedar Wars, as well as Here in the Real World by Sarah Pennypacker. If you have read any of these or would like to know more about any of these, Please let me know in the comments down below. No spoilers, but you know, what were your takes? If you read A Court of Thorn and Roses, did you like it? Did you not? How do you feel about book 2? Do you think I'm going to enjoy it? You know, stuff like that. I will talk to you again soon. Until next time, stay safe out there, guys.